Hi, I'm Susie Dills, and I'm part of the team at the Lorain County Community College Small Business Development Center, and my specialty area is record keeping, accounting, cash flow analysis, budgeting, and projections. And in today's segment, we're going to talk about a free accounting software called Wave Apps. So we're going to dive right in. I'll do a quick overview of what the software is all about. But this is really a great, simple, user-friendly software you might want to get started on just to get through and learn the accounting process. So let's take a look. Okay, so I'll just start off. It's called Wave Apps. So I'm just going to pull up waveapps.com. And you'll come to the home page. And what you're going to have to do is you will have to register your business. I already have an account set up, so we'll get into that. But another great thing about Wave, they have a lot of resources. So you can dive into any one of the tabs at the top and you can see YouTube videos, there's a manual. You would have a lot of tutorials that you can use to get started. So I'm going to go ahead and head into my account. We're going to check out Wave through a couple of the companies that I have set up here. So I'm just going to go ahead and hit that tab that says your account. And of course, you're going to have a email address that's going to be connected to your Wave Apps account. And then more importantly, you're going to have a password. And then I'll just sign in. But when you register your business, they'll go through a series of questions. And once you answer those questions about your business, it'll give you a generic chart of accounts. So in our last segment, we talked about the chart of accounts, the importance. So you will see a very generic one. We have the ability to customize that chart of account to match your business. And that's another service provided with the one-on-one free counseling at the Small Business Development Center. So when you open up Wave Apps, you're going to see a dashboard. It's going to give you a lot of information right away. You're going to see trends, you're going to see inflows, outflows. You're going to see who owes you money, who you owe money to. But another great thing too is, and I'm going to go up here because we're going to get into one of my other businesses, you can actually set up more than one business. And then you can just toggle back and forth between those businesses. So we're going to head over here to this business called Starry Trails. Once again, still going to give us our nice dashboard. And I'll scroll down a little bit so we can take a look at what's available also. Look at that, your income and expense, a nice chart there. But on this dashboard page, boy, you can just get a really good idea of, what's happening right now with your business. So you're going to get a good look, an overview look of your business's operations. So with a lot of accounting software, you're going to have a toolbar, and then each one of these categories is going to have lots of options. And this look is going to be very similar to what you would see with a QuickBooks Online. If you choose to use the online option for QuickBooks, it's going to look similar to this setup. Once again, QuickBooks Online just gives you that virtual option. I'm going to show an overview of QuickBooks Desktop in our next segment so you can see how that would vary according to your virtual options. So like I said, each category here is going to have your drop downs. So you're going to be able to put in a lot of information related to your business. It's going to help you for your sales section. You're going to be able to create invoices. You're going to be able to set up a whole list of customers. You can set up a whole list of products and services and pricing with that. So when you're populating an invoice, it's nice and easy. All that information is already upfront loaded into your software. By the way, when we do our one-on-one sessions, I also can help you through this part of the setup. So it's just a great way to get started. Come in for a session and we'll go through each of these different tabs on our menu tree for this software. So invoice is really a great feature. You can create your invoices just right through the software. So if I wanted to, I already have a template set up for my invoice, and all I have to do is start populating information. If I wanted to add a customer, I can just go to, my list of options. It's going to put in your date. It's going to give you an invoice number. And then if you go down to services, I've already populated different options and pricing. So say I wanted to do a family program, that would be $150. So one of those, it's going to calculate everything right there for you, and you'll have your total. And because I've already set up my logo, the type of template I want to use, I've already embedded all of that into the software. Once I hit save and continue, it's just going to bring up that information on my invoice. So you can see, look at that, here's my logo, here's my address, and a nice professional invoice that you can send to your customer. You can email it, you can print it out, you can give them a hard copy. There's just a lot of options. But the beauty of it all is once you hit save and continue, it makes that accounting transaction record for you. You don't have to think about what accounting entry you would have made. So just a great feature. And then purchases, if we go down to this tab, we're going to see, what bills, who are your vendors, products and services. Once again, you would upfront all of that information. And probably the most important tab is your accounting tab. This is where you're going to do your record keeping. So think about what's going to be the easiest way for you to record keep for your business. Your accounting software is going to give you options. So Wave is going to give you 3 options. You can connect to your bank account, you can upload your bank statement, or you can make manual transactions. So it's going to depend on how you want to enter those transactions. But if you connect to your bank account, every transaction that goes through your bank account is going to migrate into Wave apps. Same with QuickBooks Online. So you just have to decide how you're going to get those transactions into your accounting software, into the proper accounts. So I gave you the options for transactions. I'll do a practice one in a few minutes. But let's go down to our chart of accounts here. And I'm going to go ahead and we're going to take a look at the chart of accounts. Like I said, when you give them your company information, they're going to give you a generic one, but you're going to have the ability to go in and customize this. Once again, this is something I cover in the one-on-one session. So you know these terms, right? Remember we talked about assets, liabilities, income, expense, and equity. So you have to just think of what your assets would be, what are your liabilities, and then what do you want to look at as far as income and expense breakouts go. So real quick, we'll just take a look at how I have my my assets set up. Really the only thing I have, well, I take that back, I do have accounts receivable because I do invoice customers. So I do have my PNC checking account set up as my asset account in cash and bank. And then here's your accounts receivable section. So if I had any outstanding invoices, they would be showing up in accounts receivable because, once again, I have this set up on accrual accounting. We talked about that in our last segment. So liabilities, that would be loans, lines of credits, payments to vendors, and then income accounts. You can see that I have various breakouts. So when I originally got my generic setup, it just said sales, but I added more accounts based on how I wanted to see that breakout, because this is what's important to me for my business. So you just set up how you want to break out those accounts. And then expenses, they give you a nice list, but once again, you can either edit these where you see the pencil, or you can just add a new account. And then equity, this would be your distributions, drawings, any of your owner's equity. But a really nice user-friendly software. And the general accounting process with this software is free. That's why I recommend it a lot to small businesses, because you really get the idea of how the accounting process works. What do your reports look like? So it gives you that look. But if you become more robust, then you can move to a QuickBooks. QuickBooks Desktop, QuickBooks Online, and there's lots of other softwares too. But with Wave Apps, they are going to charge you a fee for credit card processing or any of your payroll if you wanted to do payroll through Wave Apps software. So they're going to charge you a fee for that. And if you got a payroll service or had credit card fees anywhere else, you have to compare and decide if you want to run that through your software, your accounting software, or just pay for it separately. So let's go ahead and we're going to do a practice transaction, because I just want to show you how it flows. We'll do an income one and then an expense. And we'll just do I'll just kind of do a generic pretend one. Say I want to do, let's say, a family program. So I just put my description. And I'll go down here and I'm going to just slide that number into my PNC checking balance that's going to show up on my balance sheet. And let's say I got $250 for that. And here's the date that the program was completed. And if I go down here to my category, you can see where it says uncategorized income. Well, I have my income account set up, so I'm just going to look down through this, my drop down here, and I'm going to see program income. I want to put it into that category, so I'll click on that account, and so that's where I want that money to go through, income, and it's going to go into my PNC checking. So I'm done filling out all the information I need for that transaction, and I'm going to click Save. And then you can see here's my information. If I needed to fix anything or add anything, I could just click this, it'll come back up, and I can make the correction. Everything looks good. But once I hit that Save button, which is really awesome, is it actually makes your debit and credit entry for you. So you didn't even have to think about it. It walked you through the information it needed to make that entry into your accounting records. So let's see the end result of that transaction. Remember we said our balance sheet and income statement, that's where all those transactions are going to funnel into. We have our chart of accounts set up, that's our framework. So our accounts are organized, and I'm going to go in here to the profit and loss statement. And when it first comes up, opens up this window, you're going to see a summary. So it's just going to collapse all your accounts into these categories. But I want to see my detail. So I'm just going to click the detail button, and look at that. It gives you those categories. This is what we set up on our chart of accounts. But I want even more detail, so I'm going to just click on my program income, and it's going to give me all of my transactions I made and whatever your date range is. So you can see all that detail. Look at all these programs, look at the amounts, look at the total, but more importantly, look at this right here. This is the accounting entry, the credit. It was made to program income. So if you were just making a manual entry outside of your software, you would really have to think about what account do I debit, what account do I credit. So that's the beauty of using accounting software. You just set up your chart of accounts, how you want to organize your accounts, and then you just start record keeping. It's going to walk you through the process. All right, let's do an example of an expense. And with the one-on-ones also, we practice, we'll do some entries, we'll look at reports, just so you can get used to what's within each one of your tabs over here on your menu tree. Let's say I want to get paper. So I'm going to have that go through my PNC checking. My date's good. And let's say $10. And down here right now it's uncategorized. Well, we want to put it in office supplies. So we'll just go to our drop down. Once again, we've already set up our chart of accounts, our framework. Here it is. Everything looks good. Hit save. Make sure it's all good. We reviewed it. So it made that entry for you. So we're going to head over here. Here's our reports. Profit and loss. You can see your balance sheet is there also. I'm just going to click details. We'll scroll down here to office supplies. But see how all those other categories were listed out with totals? Here it is. That's my entry. So I know that when I record an expense, I'm going to credit cash and debit the expense. So you can see that happening. Once again, you're not even thinking about that accounting entry. You're just directing what account that needs to go to when you're recording it. But it also gives you that look, like I said, how your business looks over time. But here's the accumulation for this year. Here's all of our different categories, and we can see how much we spent on each one. So you're getting all kind of information where you can make important decisions. There's also integrations. So Wave also integrates with PayPal, and you have a lot of different other options. And remember, there's a lot of resources for Wave apps, so you can get pretty sophisticated with this free software. But boy, it's really going to help you keep track, be organized, and make informed decisions. So in our next segment, we're going to talk about QuickBooks Desktop. And to schedule a free counseling session at the Small Business Development Center, please call 440-366-4370.